Hey guys, happy Science Day. It is Tuesday, so it is Science Day. Last week we talked about germination and the life cycles of a plant a little bit, really more germination than anything else. And we took some lima beans. This guy actually split apart. We have a couple of them that actually came up. One of them sprouted, and we put it in here. I was hoping that it would actually start to poke through the top of the soil by today, but it didn't. So I will keep you posted. I've got one picture of the bean that I'm going to put on Dojo, where you can actually see the sprout coming out of it. This guy I left in there a little bit too long, so it split apart and didn't make it. We have planted a whole bunch of vegetables, and so we'll go ahead and kind of keep you guys up to speed on those. We planted some green beans and some wax beans and some zucchini and summer squash, some onions, tomatoes, and okra. Love fried okra, and a few other things, some spices and stuff like that. So we'll keep you posted on that as time goes by and things start to sprout a little bit. But today, what we're going to talk about is a metamorphosis. Okay? And a metamorphosis is a transformation from an immature to an adult form in specific stages. Sometimes it's as little as 2, but typically 3 or 4 stages. Okay. Now, when we talk about our friend over here, Mr. Grasshopper, who's walking away, but he's still with us a little bit. He was kind enough to join us for a little while, but we didn't pay him enough, so he goes through an incomplete metamorphosis that has 3 stages. It starts off as an egg, and then it goes into a nymph, which really looks like the adult, but it's not an adult, and then molts and sheds its outer skin and turns into an adult. And that's typical for things that go through a 3-stage and incomplete metamorphosis. It's not always 100% that way, but that's typical what's going on. So egg, nymph, and adult, and that molting of the outer exoskeleton is the typical part that happens. So that's an incomplete metamorphosis, and a lot of insects go through that. It was kind enough for our buddy the grasshopper to come by for a few minutes. Hey, now we know we've already talked about the complete metamorphosis, and we know that's in 4 different stages. That's the larva stage, the egg stage, then the larva stage, then we go to the pupa, and finally adult. Okay, and that is for things like a butterfly, but that 4-stage complete metamorphosis. I had one of the students in one of our 2 classes send me a picture of a chrysalis the other day, and it was really neat. We tried to figure out exactly what it was. Well, I came up with the thought that it's probably either a common yellow moth or some type of yellow butterfly. I think it was probably a butterfly, and it was pretty neat to try and figure out, based on what we were seeing, what it was. Another thing that goes through a complete metamorphosis is our guys over here. And we were lucky enough to get some tadpoles. Now, we put them in here in this very clean, unused paint tray, so you could actually see them very well, because that white keeps the background out there. Now, these guys are in that complete metamorphosis, which we've already talked about, and they start in the, you got it, the egg stage. The parents get together, the adult frog lays the eggs. The eggs eventually hatch, and we turn into the tadpole stage, which would basically be the larva stage for that type of thing. It's not a larva, but it is. But they've got gills right now. And eventually, what would have to happen is as these things get older and they start to lose their tails actually get consumed by the body, and they start to grow their legs. As that's happening, they're also developing lungs, and their gills are going away. So what we'll have to do for these guys is we'll have to put something for them to crawl out on once they start developing their legs, because at some point their gills will stop working and they'll go away, and their lungs will be required for them to breathe. So they'll need something to climb out on. And eventually, when the tail is completely consumed and the legs get fully functional, they turn into an adult frog, and they've gone through that complete metamorphosis, which is pretty neat. There are lots of things to do. These guys are easy to show you. Okay. So Mug and I would like you today, or by the end of the week, please, in a short paragraph, tell me the difference between a complete metamorphosis and an incomplete metamorphosis. So, short paragraph, the difference between a complete and incomplete metamorphosis, please. You can respond to that right on Canvas, and you can send it through a text box. You can do an audio recording of it. Just let me know if you send that audio recording, because sometimes they don't show up in the inbox. So shoot me a quick dojo if you do the audio recording so I don't miss it, please. Word document, whatever you want to do, however you want to send it in, but get it in, and ready to Zoom with you and chat it up. All right, guys, take care. Miss you. We'll see you soon.